Good evening, guys. Hello, hello. Didn't expect to see us again, huh? Because right now we are not on the Thursday Money Magnet show. We are also representing, specially for you guys, today itself. And we have a very, very interesting guest to bring to feature today. And her name is Elain Lockman. All right. And she's the CEO and co-founder of Ata Plus. And one of the things I've always asked as well as an entrepreneur, very, very important is how do you get funding to scale your business? Because as an entrepreneur, funding basically the life of the company, right? Without money, how are you going to move on the company? So it's very, very important. And especially to come into point on how you can scale your businesses. Because of course, with more money at hand, especially it allows you to scale specifically. But what I've seen a lot of newbie entrepreneurs out there, when they wanted to become an entrepreneur, they always have this question: where do I get funding? I have no knowledge about how to go VCs. I have no knowledge about getting into angel networks. I'm just fresh, new, and I have no idea of what should I do. So if for those of you, if that is representing some like you guys, or you know someone who's interested on starting a business, trying to raise funds, well, this is the show for you. And it's also very important for you to share this with them as well. So without further
Yeah,
ado, let me just tell you a little bit more about Elaine Lockman. Yeah, before that, Eddie, you wanted to say anything?
I wanted to tell those people who's watching the show. Is all about startups. Usually we associate startup with tech startup, but it doesn't necessarily mean tech startup, those digital kind of business. And want to give you guys a little bit of background about who we are. Myself, Eddie, and Alden, we founded a few companies in the past, and we've raised a few couple of seven-figure, you know,
Funding rounds.
funding rounds with Cradle, with Taraju, with Platform Ventures in the past. And one of the most important thing everybody been asking us is what's our secret sauce when it comes to funding? Well, most of our experience it is focused towards VCs. However, today's show is more specific to crowdfunding. So if those of you who never really know about what crowdfunding is actually the new buzzword that is being thrown around. Why is so much different from traditional VCs? If you are into any of that, do stay tuned and share this video. And the best thing you guys can have is we're gonna ask all the juicy questions about how to manage, your investors. Who are these investors? How the funding works? Where they can actually get more information. Best to share it with your friends and stay throughout the entire, because we're going to give out a lot of secrets here.
Yep. So as usual, why we do what we do in 100x. So this is for those of you who are new here. Well, 100x is a community where we share tips and tricks as well as solutions on how to make your business better as well as yourself personally. We have lots of content. It can be financial, it can be health, it can be sales and marketing, but today specifically is about entrepreneurship and startups itself. So for those of you who have not joined the 100x community, do consider liking or following us on Facebook. We don't have Twitter right now. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So that's the QR code for you guys. Now, got that out of the way. Well, 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 let's just bring up the most important person for today. And that is none other by Elaine Lockman. Hello, hello.
Hi,
Hi,
Elaine.
Hi.
hi
Hello,
everyone.
hello. Are we bringing up another special guest as well, Faiz as well around here?
No, just the three of us today.
Right. Okay. Okay. No worries. So, how you feeling, Elaine?
I'm good. Yeah, it's been a long day. I
Mm.
just got off from another meeting, and I was just telling the guys, Eddie and Alden, I'm having another meeting at 10:30 afterwards.
Yes.
So once I'm done with you guys, I'm jumping into another session. So
Sure.
yeah, not the day's not finished for me yet.
Definitely. As
It's part of the
entrepreneurs,
part.
right?
Yeah,
It's part of the
entrepreneurs part of the
journey.
lifestyle.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah. Could you start by telling us, well, your story of why Ata Plus and why did you started about Ata Plus? Yeah.
The story of Atta Plus. Well, Atta Plus was formed sometime, if I'm not mistaken, in March or April 2015. And we formed it because we wanted to apply for the equity crowdfunding operator's license at the time.
Okay.
But the story actually started way back, I would say maybe 5 years before that. Yeah, because at that time, me and my one of my co-founders, Kiri, Kiri thought about this idea about crowdfunding for the underserved micro entrepreneurs, and these are entrepreneurs who don't even have bank accounts. Yeah,
I see.
and we wanted to emulate what Kiva was doing in the US. Some of you may have heard of kiva.org. So what Kiva does is that they do P2P microfinancing, for disenfranchised or micro entrepreneurs all over the world. So these are basically entrepreneurs in the kampong, in the bulldogs of, say, Africa or Middle East or Latin America and so on, or even in Asia, right? So whereby you can just donate not donate lah, you lend inverted commas like $10 or up to maybe I think in terms of the average fundraising was about $300 US. All right,
that's very, very micro.
Very micro, but the interest rate is very high. It's like really like along, so like very, very steep. Yeah, really. So the interest rate can go up as high as 27%.
Wow. That's along.
Like what's the along lah? But the thing is, right, because these guys, they the way they do collection, they collect daily and it's in cash, so they don't really feel it. So they have local partners. So of course, depending on the risk profile, if the risk is very high, then it's a higher rate. Yeah. So, but surprisingly, the default rate is very low. Yeah. So their NPL is something like 0.03%.
Amazing. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, but we wanted to do something similar, but Sharia compliant. We wanted to do an Islamic. Actually, we actually got a cradle fund for it. So we did our prototype, but I think we were too early at that time. And Bank Negara was talking to us, central bank, very, very keen. But then when payment systems came in, the legal came in, they couldn't understand what it was. So all they could talk about was money laundering.
I see.
Okay.
I mean, we were just telling them, if you want to launder money, you got to create so many accounts, and then why would anyone want to launder money with micro lending, right?
It's too small. It's too small.
So it didn't make sense. But anyhow, so we were too early. So we decided to put it on the shelves. And then when the Securities Commission decided to do a consultation paper on equity crowdfunding, so we engaged with them, and the rest is history. So we applied for it, and we got approved.
Awesome. All right, let's jump into the biggest question that everyone asks about this equity crowdfunding. What's the difference between traditional fundraising and equity fundraising? Hi, Chanel. Hello.
Hi, Chanel.
Hi, Whaley. Hi. Okay, so I think the main difference, I would say, is that you are actually fundraising from the crowd, from the public. And equity crowdfunding actually allows, with equity crowdfunding being approved and regulated in Malaysia, a Sendirian Berhad, a private limited company, can now solicit investments openly from the public, right? Otherwise, you would need to go to IPO.
Understood.
Right? You need to be a public listed company to openly, do a pitching session. And seek money openly from the public. So if you are working with an equity crowdfunding operator, right, it's a as, you can even print flyers and go to the supermarket. Okay, please invest in my company. You can even do that. It's legal.
Okay, okay.
So people
All
can't
right.
accuse you of money game or whatever. So because you are already being so-called approved and your campaign can be listed on any equity crowdfunding platform. Yeah. So
Sounds-
that is the beauty, and that's more for the entrepreneurs. But for investors, now is an opportunity for retail investors to be able to invest in exciting company whereby they can actually participate at a very early stage, for example. Yeah. So those days, before equity crowdfunding was made eligible, right, or made available in the country, only angel investors or VCs,
Yep.
are
Can get in
given
the game. Yeah.
get in the game because they can invest big money,
Yes,
right?
very, very.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And
guess
it's
guys.
highly regulated also.
Yeah. Now guess what? Okay. Now you guess what is the smallest investment that we have in equity crowdfunding have accepted to date since it was introduced in Malaysia?
The
Interesting
smallest.
question.
Smallest
Probably
investment.
5,000, maybe around. That's my guess.
No,
Personally.
I'm going at the hundreds right now. 700.
100. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the lowest, huh?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
the
think that's the
lowest.
lowest.
100s.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 ringgit.
Wow. Okay.
What?
I have 10 ringgit. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can find.
So you
30.
see, it's very, very inclusive. Yeah.
Chanel says
See.
50K.
50K. Oh, that one
No,
considered.
50K is no longer retail. 50K is already sophisticated investor. All right. So now, the thing is, right, it really depends. So a lot of people say 10 ringgit. Yeah, because that particular issuer or that particular company was offering based on per unit share. But a lot of companies, they block their shares. So, and it also depends on the strategy of the company. So the strategy, some companies, they want more retail investors because they want the investors to also be their potential customers. So they make their entry point very affordable. Okay. So if you had campaigns that open up at say 300, 500 ringgit, the highest we've had so far is close to 20,000. So and the thing is, for retail investors that's classified in Malaysia, retail is considered those who invest up to 5,000 ringgit per fundraising. So anything 5,000 and below is called retail. Anything above 5,000, sophisticated investors. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's very interesting, Okay, so that's on one hand. Now I'm going to ask you another question. Okay.
Sure,
So
definitely.
investors ask me, right? So what is my potential upside? How big can my upside be? Because you must remember, equity crowdfunding is considered a high risk investment asset class. Because in the typically those days, right, when we first started, I would say 90% of the companies that apply are startups.
Yes, of course. That's what they need the
because startups find it difficult to fundraise from financial institutions, right?
Correct,
so
correct.
they opt
It's
for
very complicated as well. All the term sheets, all those things.
Yeah,
And some of
so-
them may not be that sophisticated to engage with fundraisers out there. Like that as
Correct,
well.
exactly. So, and the thing is, right, we always tell investors, you must actually diversify your investment. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Say, for example, if you have 10,000 ringgit, you can say, okay, I put 1,000 there, 500 here, 3,000 there, and so on, right? But people always ask, so how much can I get? So you are almost being like your own fund manager, So if you kena big one, you cover everything. So you're like a VC, Yeah. So I give you another. I think this will be interesting. So we always use this case study, and this is a real case study, and this is the case study is on Uber. Okay, the ride-hailing company, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now Uber, say for example, you and I are given the opportunity to invest in Uber 10 years when they first started, which was 10 years before they got listed on in the US stock exchange, right? So say you invested 10,000,
Then only, yeah.
Okay,
10,000.
say you invested 10,000 in Uber
Mhm.
when it first started. So when they got listed, which was 10 years after, how much do you think your 10,000 would be worth upon listing?
I would say 100 million
100 million,
around there,
probably USD around that. So
or
yeah,
billion. Could be
that's
billion.
a billion. Not so sure, but
A
I think about
billion
100
is
million.
a bit too crazy lah,
Yeah
but
lah.
you're right, guys.
100,
It's
100 million, 100 million.
110 million to be precise.
Yes,
So
yes.
people always say,
That's
oh, 10x, 100x,
yeah.
but there's a lot of X's there.
Yes,
So that is the potential of equity crowdfunding, you see.
Mhm.
So you spread your risk, but some may koyak, some may
Yeah,
go down
it's the
the
nature
drain.
of
Yes,
businesses itself,
yeah.
definitely.
But some investments will you make it so big that it more than cover your earlier losses, So that's the potential of equity crowdfunding for both issuers and investors. But another thing is a lot of people go to equity crowdfunding for businesses because they want to get the market and brand visibility.
Understood. They
Yeah.
want more people
How
to be
does that
aware of
work?
that.
The market and brand visibility, how does that work in Atta Plus?
So basically, what we do is we always work very closely with companies that's fundraising. So we make sure we have a integrated marketing strategy. So we all integrate PR, digital, social media, and content marketing, as well as with pitching sessions. Yeah. So we will strategize together with the business owners on how they want to go about their crowdfunding campaign. So that's
I
how
see.
we do it. Yeah. So if I can share later lah, some of the case
Sure.
studies.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Very interested.
I'll show some of the cases whereby marketing really worked for them, and how much value it brought to the companies. Yeah.
Okay. By the
Perhaps one
way,
more
guys in the
question.
chat
Yeah.
as well, if you guys have any other question, you can type into the question. We will definitely bring it up for Elain Lockman here as well. Yeah, Eddie, you were saying just now?
Yeah, one question maybe before you share the deck is, how does an entrepreneur manage the stakeholders who have invested in their companies?
Ah,
Because it's not like, the VC where you have the boardroom and stuff like that. This one is completely, it could be somebody overseas, you mean? How does that work in Atta Plus?
Yeah. So what I'm sharing with you is not just with Atta Plus, but I think with all the platform operators
yeah.
as well. Because at the end of the day, right, we are just a platform. You as a company need to manage your shareholders, and you must remember with equity crowdfunding, you have many investors. Yeah.
Yes.
If you look at crowdfunding all over the world, some investors go up to thousands. Yeah, thousands of investors. But typically, what is done is that we use what we call a nominee structure. So this nominee company will hold all these many smaller investors, and with Atta Plus, we use an LLP structure, a limited liability partnership structure. And with this LLP structure, we have a compliance officer that manages all these shareholders. So
I
as a
see.
company, you talk to the compliance officer. You communicate to the compliance officer, then compliance officer will communicate to all the investors. So you don't have a headache of like talking to 300 investors, for example.
Yeah, they won't be like calling you at night, say how's the sales and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Unlike the current traditional one, which they
Yeah,
do stuff
you
like
know,
that.
and yeah. The other thing is also, as a business owner, you also must be responsible to give
Definitely.
regular reporting, because you must remember, investors invest in your company, and when they invest, it's not your money, it's their money, right? And they entrust the money in you so that you will grow the company as per your business plan, so that you meet your targets, because they want to get returns, okay,
Yes.
for their investment. So that's your responsibility. So reporting is important. And the thing is, with investors are very simple people, so you will just need to, and it's not like reporting like you're a public listed company, so you
Yes,
just need
understand.
to, so you just need to be, so for example, just make sure you give them your annual audited report. That's one, because that's statutory
Got it.
anyway. Yeah. But over and above that, just give like it's almost like a newsletter concept whereby you give them maybe half-yearly report saying that, okay, we did this much sales, we entered this market, we won awards, or we got recognized, and then we got new team members, to drive the business, and they just want to know, how the business is doing. For example, like COVID recently, right?
Yes,
COVID,
definitely.
the pandemic hit a lot of businesses, right?
How's the business or startup life is during the COVID or right now? How's it like now?
I think if you ask me, like for us, we did really well because we coped very well because our operations are all online. So we were very minimally hit, and in fact, we let go of our physical office. We are now operating 90% online since last March when they first
COVID first hit.
Yeah, when COVID first hit until today. And I'm proud to say that for the equity crowdfunding industry, it grew 400% last year. All right, it was one of the best years. And what I can see is that there's a lot of new startups that came out of COVID too.
Yes,
new businesses.
The news on Digital News Asia as well as many other has also reported that you guys grew steadily in revenue. That shows that the startup industry is actually thriving, isn't it?
Yeah, it's thriving, and also a lot of the companies are also pivoted. Yeah, so you see a lot of new types of companies. I think what COVID did was that it kind of like cleansed out those businesses who were not digitalized. Unfortunately,
like restaurants and stuff like that.
Not really. I think a lot of restaurants, they also realized that there's a new life. It doesn't mean that they died, so they were more focused on takeouts. And I think some consolidated and did more like what do you call a cloud kitchen concepts,
Okay.
So anyway, coming back to the COVID, so the pandemic, I think so when it hit businesses, of course, investors want to know, how are you doing? So as a business, you cannot just keep quiet, So I think just to appease your shareholders, you need to say, okay, yes, we are hit, but this is our strategy. So as long as you share your strategy with your shareholders, generally they are okay, You don't just keep quiet and say, my money going to be down in the drain, is it? What's going to happen? Is the company closing down? So all this is, you need to engage with your shareholders, very important. Yeah.
Okay, one of the question I have as well is before this session as well, some of my friends actually asked me, when is the right time for them to start equity crowdfunding?
Yeah, very good question, because it's all about your business strategy. Yeah. So and we always tell the companies, especially in the early days, a lot of companies came to us as a last resort option.
Yeah, like
they try
for example,
else like cannot get money. We do crowdfunding. They think they work with the crowdfunding platform, money appears from the sky. It doesn't happen.
So guys, in the chat as well, money don't come from the sky, yeah? All right?
Money don't just appear from nowhere, okay?
Yeah.
So you got to work very hard, okay? So, yeah, because a lot of companies think like that, they sit back, suddenly money appears. No, it doesn't happen. So you need to work very hard. So now it's all about strategy, right? Because there's a few things. Some companies, they do not.
It doesn't. Okay, interesting.
No, it doesn't.
It of course doesn't. I mean, generally it doesn't. I mean, you are like, for example, born wealthy or like some Dato's kids or whatever. Maybe lah, I guess maybe lah. But generally no, yeah.
Yeah, because it's all about your business strategy. Number one. Also, it's about, I can share with you some of the key success factors. It's all about a different sort of combination of elements. All right. So let's talk about strategy first. So as a company, right, you may not want to give away your shares to one or two single investors because you do not want to meddle into your business, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
Generally, if you have one or two big investors, angel investors, they would want to take a board position, and they
Yes.
would probably want to have a say,
Yep.
in your company. So that's one. Number two, you may be in a position whereby, oh, I want all these investors to also be my brand evangelist or my customers to talk about my product and services. That's another strategy. Okay, so it's all related to business. Okay, so always bear in mind that it's all about your business strategy. Okay, so that's on one hand. But once you decide and you get into a crowdfunding campaign mode, then you must look at your key success factors. Do you have the story that will excite people? Okay, and the story is a combination of things. It's from, do you have the market traction? Do you actually have
Problem, I guess. Yeah.
Problem
Yeah.
to solve.
yeah. So do you have a very exciting investment proposition, which means that, for example, right, if I go to the market and say, okay, my investment entry point is 20,000, not many people can afford 20,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
So vis-a-vis or compared to say, okay, my investment entry point is only 1,000 ringgit. Then, okay, maybe then you have more people who can be
Or
interested.
maybe 10 ringgit, 10 ringgit.
Maybe 10 ringgit, yeah. But at the same time, it's not just the investment entry point, but what is your exit? You must always think about what is the potential exit. Why should anybody invest in your company? It's not just about an exciting business, but it must also be about how can I help you grow your company if you invest in me. Yeah.
Understood.
All right. So the other thing is your team as well. You must show that you have a management team that is able to take the company from point A to point B to point C until a huge success. That can give good returns for the investors. Yeah.
I have a question. Was there any investors who actually invested in the past that actually became one of the founding members after that? Because it's like, they can see an opportunity for these companies, then they kind of join the entrepreneur entire journey. Does it happen?
I'm sure it has. I have not seen on my platform. I'm sure it's been somewhere in some other people's platform whereby someone invested and then later was invited to be part of the team.
I see.
I know that one case, but that gentleman was not. I don't think he could be an investor, but I know that he was from one of the government agencies, and then he joined the startup, and the startup is doing really well now, very very well. Yeah.
Oh, was it that guy that is a YB, I remember, isn't it? Yeah. He joined these recruiting companies.
Oh no. This guy was from a government agency. He joined this company. I shall not mention, but the company is doing very very well. Very very well.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah. Elain, would you want to bring up your presentation? I'm sure that you have a very, very interesting.
Actually, you've asked a lot of the stuff I want to cover.
Oh, yeah. Because we had all these burning questions that we wanted to clarify. Some of them actually, the viewers actually did WhatsApp.
They shy, and they don't put inside the comments here.
In there. Later people see that their name there, so they shy, so they ask us.
No lah, you don't be shy. Can you see
actually yes, it's right here. Awesome. Putting the fun in crowdfunding.
Yeah, you're about to say something just now before I share. You want to say something? No.
I just wanted to say that there's a lot of people who shy, but I think it's confidence lah. Seriously, when you guys wanted to do fundraising and stuff out, is a big chunk of it actually comes into confidence, because you actually ask people to give you money and for them to believe in you. Definitely confidence plays a very very big role in this. So for some of you who actually WhatsApp me before this session out there, do consider putting yourself out there, because it's only when you put yourself out there then people will realize that yes, I trust this guy, I believe in his business, I believe in his vision. So yes, be confident. If your business is really doing well, be confident. Yes, that's what I just wanted to say.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that, don't be afraid, because the more you practice, the better you get,
Definitely.
and,
Yes.
and I can tell you, right, I think there are I'll share with you afterwards, one of our investee companies, one of our companies, they talk to more than 100 angels and VCs. They got zero money, okay? Until they
Oh.
people on crowdfunding. So, but don't be dejected, okay? Because just because people, fundraising is like getting married. So you want to make sure you get married to the right people. So if you
Yeah.
want to be polygamist, you join equity crowdfunding lah. You can marry many many.
So crowdfunding is the playboy area. You might is that what you get so many. Yeah, interesting. And I'll talk about that. But yeah, actually, you get to share about your brand with more people as compared to sometimes VC or angels. The best way for you to actually get in touch with them is actually through connections. But what if you don't have connections? Well, I guess the second best way to go is crowdfunding, or in some entrepreneurs, there's the first and most easiest and the best way for them to start.
Yeah, especially when they want to, you mentioned about strategy where they become your evangelist, where they share your message, your product to other people, and
Yes,
hence more sales over there. It's like, what you call that? You leverage on human capital to spread your marketing as part of it.
absolutely. Okay,
Interesting.
I start my presentation now. Yeah. Okay.
Sure,
Yep.
go ahead.
So okay. So I just want to share a little bit on what crowdfunding is, because not many people are aware. Some
Mm.
don't know. So this concept of crowdfunding is not new, and it's been around for many many years. Those days, when before it was called crowdfunding, when you have a business idea, or you want to fundraise for a cause, right? You just go to people that your friends, your
Yes,
family.
families and
Connections.
Correct. But now, so what has happened over the last 10 years with web technology, with digital social media, and I would say especially now with the sophistication of mobile technology, now you can reach people that you don't even know across borders, across geographies, and who share the same interests as you, who believe in the cause in your business, and you can pitch to them, and they can actually commit or invest in you, right? So
definitely.
that's how crowdfunding came about, the word crowdfunding. So the concept is very simple. You pitch, you fundraise, and then the investors get rewarded, whether it's through shares, whether it's through products and services. Okay. So essentially, there's four types of crowdfunding, right? There's donation and reward, then there's equity, there's P2P or debt. Now, donation and reward crowdfunding they are both not regulated, because there's no cash exchange in terms of in return for the funding support, and there's no shares or cash exchange.
Or
So
even promise, right? Because donors
yeah,
may
Reward
not.
reward is more like, for example, people invested in you and you create maybe the first prototype with some
correct, correct,
special things bundled inside for you. It's like
correct.
the Kickstarter or something like
Correct.
that, is it?
That's right, for Kickstarter and for Indiegogo. So that's how equity crowdfunding came about. You see, because those days, right, when these so-called supporters, right, they put in money for this Indiegogo and Kickstarter campaigns, and some of these companies, became eventually listed their company and became multi-billion-dollar companies. So those initial people who put in the money to help them come up with a prototype were saying, hey, if only you had given us an equity,
Yeah,
so we
with
would have
such
made
a
so much money, so that's how equity crowdfunding came about. And debt crowdfunding is very straightforward, okay, because it's just regulating the lending process, but you're sourcing out monies from the public, okay.
Mm.
Okay. So what's in it? So I think we've talked about this, So basically, business owners look for funding as well as look for market visibility and branding. Whereas the backers, majority of them are looking at returns, but some actually do want to get involved in a startup and grow with the business. Okay, so essentially that's that. Now, I'll give you a little bit of, rundown on the history of equity crowdfunding in Malaysia. It started way back in 2014 when Securities Commission came up with the consultation paper. And Malaysia, just to let everyone know, Malaysia is the first country in ASEAN, to regulate equity crowdfunding. Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Cheers.
Yes.
Great. That's good.
And I'm very proud to say, very pleased to say that our regulator, Securities Commission, is very, very supportive of SMEs. And they do want to come, they are very innovative, working together very closely with industry players like ECF and P2P operators to come up with more and more, exciting products. But also, I'll show you later how they have evolved the regulatory guidelines, to support the industry better and also the SMEs. So to date, we have 10 ECF operators and 11 P2P operators. Yeah. And you can see P2P has raised as of end of June 2021. This year, they've raised close to 1.7 billion ringgit. Yeah. And for ECF, close to 300 million ringgit.
There's such a huge increase given the fact that COVID actually, most people think is going up, man.
Small number though, as you can see, P2P is only 22,000. About, I think, as what you've mentioned, it's still currently new and not many people is actually involved in it. So for you guys who are watching in this chat, probably this is your time to actually go and check this out, because
if you look at the trend, it's going up. It's going up. So now
guys, we always talk about a hockey stick, right? Maybe this is your chance to be part of that hockey stick.
Yeah, because you see, there's I think you talk about SMEs in Malaysia. There's over 600,000. SMEs. Yeah, so that's why, like you say, you correctly said, a lot of companies are still not aware of ECF and P2P. So just a little bit on ECF, I think I mentioned just now, but if you look at the breakdown of funds raised to date, there's only 7% that's more than 3 million raised, but the rest is almost equal, within 500 and below, between 500,000 and 1.5 million, and between 1.5 million and 3 million. But we are about to see the trend changing, and I'll tell you why. Okay, I'll tell you later a bit why, but just to give you an idea about the breakdown of what kind of investors invest. So majority tend to be retail investors, but obviously the bigger quantum comes from the sophisticated and institutional investors and angel investors. Yeah,
those are the big amount.
Bigger ticket size, yeah. But if you look at in terms of age groups, the younger generation love this kind of product because they understand it better. But we see that the numbers also, the percentage growing in the older generation too. Okay.
One of the question I have, probably you may be able to share, is what type of business type or profile that normally goes into equity successful fundraising?
Yeah, generally, when we first started, the companies that tend to, this was way back in 2016, 2016, 2017, the companies tend to be more tech-oriented.
Tech startup. That's why in the beginning I mentioned that most people think about startup is only to tech startup, like they're going to create a next Facebook app or something like that, but it's not anything like that.
Yes. Yeah, it's not like that anymore, because now we see all sorts of companies from all sorts of industries fundraise, from content, from F&B, agriculture, green tech, so many. So is industry agnostic, really. Yeah. So in terms of demography, geographical, so it's interesting that Malaysia accepts anyone can invest from anywhere around the world, except for sanctioned countries by Bank Negara. which are essentially Iran and North Korea. Okay, and we also are quite particular about, a bit mindful of investors from US, because the US regulator are very particular about solicitation of investments, especially from US citizens, especially for retail investors. Yeah.
I see.
Okay, but
So much.
sorry, just
Yeah.
want to add, just generally, 90 over 90 or 95% will be local investors, and this is very, very common across the world, in terms of, because local investors will always support local startups lah.
Yeah. That's basically what I wanted to ask. Most of it is like on local, right?
Correct. Okay. And also, I always get this question: does that mean that if, say for example, there's a company from Thailand who wants to fundraise in Malaysia, but the Thailand company, the Thai company, will have to set up a Malaysian Sdn Bhd in order to fundraise. Okay, because business can be anywhere. Yeah, and when they set up the local entity cannot just be an SPV. It cannot just be a company set up to fundraise and then the money goes out. The local company have to have something, so either it holds the IP, or it's a marketing center, or it's a production center, or something. It has to create value for the country. Yeah.
Interesting.
Alright.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, because the investors is within that country, they would want something back at their own homeland, as well as getting back something. It's something tangible, as opposed to you don't know where your money is going. You're only benefiting elsewhere.
Correct. So what I would like to mention also, the government of Malaysia fully support equity crowdfunding, and also P2P. This is proven for the last three budgets, budget 2019, 2020, and 2021. Specific for equity crowdfunding, the government has put in 130 million ringgit, whereby the government co-invests with the public, and this fund is called Malaysia Co-Investment Fund, MySafe. For every 4 ringgit the public invest, the government will match with 1 ringgit up to 1 million ringgit per company.
So essentially, it means that if you are a company, you raise 1 million from the public, you get another million from the government.
No. That's not how it works. So you get 25%. So basically, if you raise 1 million from the public, you get 250,000 from the government. Yeah. So for every 4 ringgit the public put in, the government will put in 1 ringgit. Get it?
Got it. Understand.
Okay. So up to 1 million. Yeah. Right. Now, at the same time, the government, for budget 2021, they want to incentivize more retail investors to invest. So they've given this incentive. So for retail investors who invest up to 50,000 ringgit a year in equity crowdfunding platform, equity crowdfunding campaigns, from 1st of January 2021 until 31st December 2023, they get 50% income tax relief. All right.
Oof. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So this is for these 3 years. So we are still waiting for the details because Securities Commission is still working it out with the LHDN on this. So once this is finalized, we can have another session and whereby I can share with you how this works.
Please do. I'm very interested in this because tax incentive, one of the best thing that can it actually solidify why crowdfunding. You just say you get tax incentive, that's it.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah. So I just want to share, how the guidelines have evolved since 2015. So when the crowdfunding was first introduced in 2015, the amount that can be raised was only maximum 5 million ringgit. Okay, and in a year, a company can only raise 3 million ringgit. There was a cap. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And then only Sdn Bhd companies were allowed. Yeah, and then only ordinary share structures were allowed. Okay, today is 20 million maximum. Yeah,
I see.
20 million maximum, and then there's no more maximum for annual. So the SC has removed that requirement. So a company can raise up to 20 million one shot, right? And over and above Sendirian Berhad, limited liability partnership is already eligible, LLP or PLT, and unlisted Berhad or unlisted public companies can also now fundraise. So you will find that now larger SMEs are seriously looking at equity crowdfunding as a potential avenue to fundraise, and also bigger companies with bigger funding requirement. Yeah. So those days people were thinking, okay, maybe I try lead market, but lead market also not cheap to list on lead market. Yeah.
Yeah, you need a lot of cost to set
Yeah.
up all the documents and stuff. You could go up to like
Correct.
6 to 7 figures to even start
Correct.
before everything.
Absolutely. So it is much more cost effective to fundraise through equity crowdfunding. So this shows how friendly the regulator is, so very SME friendly. They want to help. They want to see how best they can help. So and also even the fundraising structure is no longer limited to ordinary shares. Now, preference share structure is also has already been allowed by the Securities Commission. Yeah, so
Better for the investors as well.
Yes, correct. So we're looking forward for the budget 2022. As an industry, we have submitted a few suggestions and requests for budget 2022. So we look forward for the government to further support the industry and the SME industry. Yeah.
It seems like the startup industry is getting a huge boost from all the
Yes.
crowdfunding over here. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So I think I talked about the regulatory framework. I think what's important is that I mentioned now private limited companies, unlisted Berhad and LLP. And then your paid up share capital cannot be more than 20 million ringgit. And what's important is subsidiary of public listed companies are not allowed. Yeah, so they are not eligible at the moment. Okay. Okay. So what are required? Okay, what are the items that's required if you want to consider fundraising? The first and foremost, you must make sure that your audit reports or your audit accounts are in order. Your latest audit accounts and your management accounts. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you must have a business plan, at least 3 years minimum, and
projections and everything.
Yes, and financial projections. When you talk about projections, is your P&L, your balance sheet, and your cash flow. And you must have the assumptions in place, because very important. You cannot have the numbers just pick up from the sky. Yeah.
But for startups, it's quite tough, right? When it comes to assumptions, I mean, most of it they just change strategy if they pivot. Like for example, COVID situation, then they will have to pivot. How would a company have to deal with their investors if that was the case?
No, which is fine. At the end of the day, if you have assumptions, your assumptions make sense. That's fine. Okay. The one that we do not want is that you just put the numbers just for the sake of putting numbers. That cannot. So like for Atta Plus, right? When we look at the spreadsheet, we want to see the numbers in your spreadsheet. We want to see the formulas, how you derive the numbers. Yeah, very very important, because then we are doing our so-called due diligence. To make sure that these numbers are actually based on certain assumptions, and we also look at the assumptions. The assumptions cannot be something ridiculous, lah. It must be something that within reason, and there must be a reason why you come up with those assumptions. Yeah, okay. So we look at that, right? And for us, with all these documents, with Atta Plus, if you submit the complete documents information, we can process your application in 5 working days or less.
Okay? That's fast, way fast.
Yeah, but the thing is, normally, right, it doesn't happen because all the time there's always something missing.
Some documents missing, maybe some financial projection, or maybe the numbers is,
Correct.
But startups, to be honest, you gotta give them a little bit of leeway because they never had experience in any of these kind of things we give. Yeah.
Of course. Right. So then who can invest? So essentially, there's three types of investors are categorized in these three categories: retail investors, angel investors, and sophisticated. So retail investors can invest up to 5,000 ringgit, or less, and no more than 50,000 ringgit in 1 year. Okay. Now, but you see, we find that a lot of retail investors can invest more than 5,000. All right. So what we do is that if you want to invest more than 5,000, you just self-declare yourself as sophisticated. No one's going to check whether whether your net assets is at least 3 million ringgit and so on. You see, because SC has said that already. Yeah. Now, angel investors are essentially investors who are registered with the Malaysia Business Angel Network. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question here. Is there any benefits between a retail investors, angel investors, and sophisticated investors?
Yeah, so for angel investors, they have there's a special angel tax incentives if they invest in tech businesses. Yeah, so that's why some angel investors want to be part of this Malaysia Business Angel Network lah. Yeah, so sophisticated investors are essentially investors who have declared that they have at least 3 million worth of net assets minimum. Yeah.
But nobody's really gonna check through everything, right? Yeah.
Nobody's really gonna check through. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. This is the same. Okay. So let's look at some crowdfunding case studies. So why I want to show this is that I want to show the different types of companies that have fundraised and why they are successful. And they fundraise for different reasons. Okay. So this is a company set up by these two young gentlemen. And what's interesting about these two guys is that their family came from a very traditional business of selling fresh seafood.
Fresh seafood so it's a B2B, very traditional kind of.
Yeah, so it used to be B2B, but then they decided they wanted to bring in technology to their traditional business. So the innovation that they brought to their family business was to actually offer B2C, basically the seafood from the sea right to your doorstep. But what they do is they actually make sure that everything is clean and packed, so, and essentially their end customers would pay a premium for fresh seafood. So
that's nice.
Yeah, so that's their value proposition. So they actually fundraise about 1.15 million ringgit, and their crowdfunding campaign was interesting because they offered some revenue sharing upside for their investors. So every quarter they actually pay out some revenue sharing portions to their investors.
That's very interesting. Have they how did they digitalize their business? Was it an app or website where people can order, or they are working with other third parties?
No, they did it themselves. So essentially, initially it was web-enabled mobile, but I believe now they are migrating to a mobile app. Yeah.
Okay. When was this? The Fish at Heart?
Fresh at Heart was, if I'm not mistaken, 2017 thereabouts. Yeah.
They are pioneers in the B2C for this.
Yeah, they're pioneers. So they left their cushy jobs. Both of them work in Bank Negara. Okay, so they left their cushy jobs to go into entrepreneurship. Okay, yeah. Okay, so but very, very smart team. One of their co-founders also is the co-founder of Capital Bay. If Capital Bay is a very successful P2P platform operator. Okay. Now Lore is a footwear company. All right, it's a very I would say very established footwear company. But what L'Oreal wanted to do was they wanted to restructure their business and reposition it as a lifestyle company. So what they did was they wanted to do a crowdfunding campaign mainly for marketing purposes, and repositioning their brand, and they actually achieved that very well because they got massive coverage on The Edge, on Focus Malaysia, on the Star. They had the Star Biz covered them on the cover page, and they had a 2-page spread in the inserts as well. So they did well. Makapan is a very good case of a very young startup. When they approached us, they were only 6 months old. Yeah, but and they were set up by, if you see those 4 people there, they were fresh graduates out of university. Yeah, but one thing great about them is that they know they were young, so they took in their team 2 very seasoned advisors. All right. So who advised them on how to grow their business in terms of funding strategy, in terms of marketing and branding and positioning. So they raised 300,000 ringgit, and as we speak right now, they successfully closed their pre-series A fundraising. Yeah, and they are set to be acquired by a unicorn.
Wow.
Yeah, in about a couple years' time. So
So the investors who invested in Makapan will generally get a handsome return, I guess.
yeah, yes, that is the idea. So so Makapan is a very good case study as well. So they're highly likely going to be acquired by Gojek. So that's the target. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, you see, even young companies, right? What Elaine mentioned about Grab when it first started by a startup, even 10 ringgit could have become, hundreds of millions. This is one example, not Grab, but Makapan itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
FinSpark, I think maybe quite a number of you would know FinSpark. So FinSpark is a very, very good case study whereby the community really supported their crowdfunding campaign. Okay, so the thing with FinSpark is they had a celebrity or I would say a KOL, a key opinion influencer, a key influencer with Spark Liang. Spark had over I would say 200,000 kind of like supporters, followers, fans. So when they fundraise with us, just to let you guys know, on the 3rd day of their fundraising campaign, they already hit their minimum target, which was about 400,000 ringgit. Okay, and what's interesting with their investment is that their entry point was very affordable. It was only about 500 ringgit. Okay, which was very affordable, right? And there's a strategy for it because they wanted their
more people to be
the supporters to be able to invest in their company.
Yeah,
so,
they have like 318 investors. That's like pretty high.
Yeah, so actually they had more. Let me share with you. So what happened was on the 6th day of their fundraising campaign, they actually did a Facebook Live, 1 hour Facebook Live session from, if I'm not mistaken, it was from 8 to 9 p.m. at night, whereby they shared their business plan. So they did a business pitching to all their followers. Yeah, and the followers heard their pitch overnight. Okay, this was from 10 p.m. till 2 p.m. the next day. They raised 1.1 million ringgit.
Whoa.
It was incredible. It was incredible, guys. We were like, and actually their target fundraising maximum was 2 million. They overshot by 200,000. We had to close the campaign, and even when we closed the campaign, people were still trying to invest and call us, hey, why we cannot invest? So actually in total they had over 400 investors.
Wow.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, so but for some reason they only wanted 1.5 million, so we had to return back the money.
I see.
Oh, the investors will be like, whoa.
Yeah, so sad. It's also so that was like, okay, last in, last out, last in, first out lah. So that's the, so unfortunately, we had to return the money back. So we had a headache returning the money. But this was
So
a
guys, also it shows that first come first serve, yeah, guys. So if you guys are on the platform right now, you guys can actually be one of the first to actually invest on new companies that is coming up. So you may not know, you might actually hit gold. So definitely be in the platform.
yeah, okay. So Fee 54 is why I want to highlight Fee 54 because their fundraising was done during the pandemic. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it was 100% done during pandemic. But what Fee 54 did very well is that they worked very closely with Atta Plus to strategize their marketing. Okay, so their content marketing was really good. The digital social media strategy was great. Work hand in hand with us, and also the pitching sessions. Yeah, so they also did a lot of mobilize a lot of their network. They had very good network in Singapore and Malaysia and Hong Kong. So they raised over 50 investors. Yeah, close slightly over 3 million ringgit. Okay.
And you can see it's a single foreign investors investing about quite a large sum though.
Yes, correct.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So this is the thing, you see. So when you fundraise in ringgit, right? When you go to Singapore, it's very small denominator.
yeah.
3 times 3.
So yeah. So it's really how you position the story, okay, and the offer. Yeah. This is also another interesting one because this is a green tech company and is led by a female entrepreneur. And what we found that there were a lot of female entrepreneurs who invested in her. Majority of her investors were female, and the single largest investor female from Hong Kong. Yeah,
I see.
these are her investors were all high net worth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 11, but then she raised about nearly 3 million ringgit. Yeah,
Correct. Yeah. So I want to showcase also exits. So one is the successful me, but also exit.
And now exit.
Yeah. So okay, this is Scholar Fund. Scholar Fund, I'm very proud to say they were the first company that successfully fundraised on Atta Plus, and they are also the first company in Malaysia to give 100% exit to their investors. Okay, because they were acquired. Now, Scholar Fund was the one who accepted 10 ringgit.
Okay.
Yeah. And Scholar Fund was also the company that talked to more than 100 VCs and angels and got nothing.
And then they got nothing. I see.
Yeah. And just to let you guys know, the Scholar Fund founders and also Scholar Fund award-winning companies. They were recognized by Forbes under 30 as the entrepreneurs to look out for. So they receive a lot of awards and accolades. But what we told them is that the reason why VCs or angels did not invest in them because they are actually a social enterprise. Okay, because what Scholar Fund does, they help underserved university students to get scholarships. Okay, to crowdfund for scholarships, right? So we told them equity crowdfunding is the way to go because there will be people out there who believe in you, right?
Yeah, share the cost with you.
Correct. True enough, they had a very nice crowdfunding campaign whereby, from 26 investors who invested 10 ringgit, 1,000 ringgit, 3,000 ringgit, 30,000 ringgit, they had 350,000 ringgit investors. Okay, so and all of these people made their return over just slightly over 3 years. The Scholar Fund was 100% acquired by a bigger company, Indonesian group, who gave 10% returns to their shareholders. But on top of that, I think for the shareholders, it was more of the socio-economic impact that they made. Yeah, the impact that they made to the recipients of the scholarships. Yeah. Okay.
Wonderful. Love this story.
Yeah. So there's two other companies I want to showcase, like My Cash Online. They also did a crowdfunding campaign. And what happened was 500 startups, a VC offered to buy out the ECF investors after 2 years. But only a few took up the offer. The rest wanted to stay on because they want to get a bigger upside.
I see.
Yeah. So you see, or even though they gave over 40% return, but there's still a lot of the investors stay on to get a bigger upside.
Even bigger upside after final
Yeah.
starts may have offered it to some other companies.
Correct. Now, another one is Green Lagoon. So again, the promoters or the founders of this company offered to buy out all the investors, but only a handful took up the offer. The rest continued to stay on with the company because this company has got IPO lined up already in their plans. Yeah.
This is what I mean when I mentioned that some investors are so invested into the startups, they want to be a part of them, where they hold their shares and they really just want to support them all the way.
Exactly.
So these are example, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the following are examples of a foreign exits. Now, Selexer is a biomedical company. Now, Selexer's smallest investment they accepted, they funded on Crowdcube. Yeah, Crowdcube is one of the most successful equity crowdfunding platforms in the world. They are based in the UK. So the smallest investment that Selexer accepted was £7. Yeah, £7 only. All right. So it's very small. I mean, RM7 here lah. You know. But the returns, because there was a private equity company that took a big position, so they offered to buy out all the equity crowdfunding investors. Yeah, so all the investors made 270% returns. Yeah, okay. So that's the kind of, so this I'm talking more now
the potential, right?
Potential of your investments, right? Okay. Beyond Meat is
I've seen this before.
This on news. Yeah, I heard this as well on news.
Yeah. So this company, what they did was they did fundraising before the IPO, right? You can see, right? The IPO was 6 months after their ECF. So their valuation, what happened was they expected it to be 1.5 billion, but their IPO price went up to 3.8 billion. So imagine the crowdfunders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the investors.
Dollar sign.
Yeah. Okay. Meta is another one. So they made 9 times return, the investors on Crowdcube.
On Crowdcube.
Yeah. Now this is interesting because when they fundraise, okay, they only raised not a lot, 100,000 US, but they were very lucky because they were acquired 6 months after that.
Oh, that's
so the
fast.
first 1 billion exit with ECF, okay, they were acquired by General Motors.
Okay.
Yeah, big guy that bought
Lucky,
them out.
Yeah, sometimes you're lucky.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, crowdfunding is also another way for you to actually get your word out there for people to even know about you as well. Sometimes crowdfunding also you get PR news as well. So the bigger guys will actually notice you.
Yes. And also a lot of VCs and angels and PEs, they watch the crowdfunding space because these are all the deal flow pipeline, you know.
Yeah,
Deal flow.
that's how
Okay.
they get to know what companies that they want to invest next as well.
Correct. So this is the last one I want to feature now. Brewdog is one of the successful, gave huge returns to their crowdfunding investors. Brewdog is, they've done multiple rounds of crowdfunding on Crowdcube. So they are the first ECF unicorn valued at $1 billion. Yeah, after a PE firm acquired the company. So they gave the original investors 27 over returns. Yeah, 27, close to 28 times returns. Yeah.
Looking at all these makes me so excited in the startup industry.
Of course it
the
is.
best
Just
time to
imagine
go.
if you invested 1,000, you see, look at that 27.6 return. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you know. So, okay, so these are the key success factors that I mentioned earlier. So I just want to summarize again. So one is traction, okay? So traction is important. If But okay, people always ask me, is traction sales? Not necessarily sales. Okay, it can be your
Follower
members,
growth.
follower growth. Yeah, it can be your contracts. It can be your MVP. It can be your prototype. It can be beta tester. So it depends. Market traction can be in many metrics. So it
Yeah.
depends how you want to tell your story. Okay, right. The offer is important. Your valuation, how you structure your offer. Yeah, what's the exit strategy? Are you bundling rewards, into your campaign? Okay. Content is important now. Your storytelling, your pitch deck, your pitch video. Why we always say pitch video? Because a lot of these people will never meet you personally. So your video is one way that they get to know you over and above the pitching sessions. Yeah.
Understood.
Your community is strong. So if you look at what happened with FinSpark, that's the proof of the pudding. Yeah. And you can always grow this crowd of supporters. Now, your community doesn't mean your fan base. It can be your employers, your employees. It can mean your suppliers. It can be your partners. It can be your friends and family. It can be how you want to classify it. And there's always a strategy of how you want to grow. I mean, you go to Atapla's YouTube channel, and we have quite a number of online workshops that we've done, and part of it is valuation, how to do business plan, how to do pitch decks. It's all there. You can take a look at some of it. Yeah, the resources
Guys,
are there.
Awesome,
free
guys.
free
Yes.
free content, free education. I think most startup they struggle with is when it comes to creating a pitch deck as well as valuation. They say, how do I value my company? I just
Correct.
made only about 10,000 last month in sales. Is that how much my company is valued? That's not actually it. There's
Correct.
more to it. So guys, check out the Ata Plus YouTube. You guys can learn way much more from there.
Yeah. And marketing. So marketing is important. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you publish your campaign on a platform, money appears. It doesn't happen that way. You have to, it's a strategy. You got to market and sell your story and your offering. Yeah. Your team is important because the investors want to be confident that your team can actually, grow this business, take this company to the next level. Okay, and if you feel that your team is lacking the experience and the skill sets, please get mentors, coaches, or advisors as part of the storytelling. Yeah. Commitment is important because we've seen in the past whereby the business owners are not committed to fundraising. A lot of the times the campaign didn't work out because fundraising is hard. Okay,
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
Exactly. Takes a lot of time and effort, and you have to work very closely with the operator, and you got to effectively plan and promote your fundraise. You got to hustle. Okay. Yeah. So just a little bit about us. So we've been around since 2015. Those are the three co-founders. Yeah. So we believe it's not just about making money, but we also believe that crowdfunding, has a lot of socio-economic value. Yeah. In terms of financial inclusion and democratizing investments, especially in this new economy. All right. Yeah.
It's not only for the big players, it's for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a market operator, it's not only we are able to provide a platform for companies to fundraise and investors to invest, public to invest, but also we can actually do a crowdfund of funds whereby we can work with a venture capital firm, to raise a micro fund on the platform. And also we can actually set up and offer a secondary market trading. So in the interim, if the ECF investors want to liquidate their shares. Yeah.
This is already implemented, is it? This is
Not yet.
news to me.
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
These are all I guess are still cooking in the oven lah.
But it's gonna be very
Very
exciting. This one, yeah.
Very exciting.
Very
I
exciting.
agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do we offer as a company? So we offer swift processes. I think I mentioned to you, subject to completeness of information and documentation, maximum 5 working days, diligent compliance to make sure that the companies meet the requirements of Securities Commission. Other value-added services whereby we also work with our industry partners. These are like, if companies need support in terms of business plan or their pitch decks, or even valuation. So we have industry partners who can help you with that. And we do work closely with the companies in terms of integrated marketing strategy. I mentioned just now, PR, online and offline marketing. And this is the platform. Do check it out. That's our website.
Plus, let me just put it down here so everyone can see and tag it.
So for both investors and entrepreneurs, you can just go to the website, register an account.
Yes, you can. All right. Okay. All right. And do take a look at our social media. We have an IG, Facebook, LinkedIn. This is our traction to date. We've raised close to 54 million ringgit. But in the next few months, you will see a lot more exciting campaigns coming up. So our target by year end is more than 100 million ringgit.
Double.
Yeah, more than double. So watch the space, guys. I can say is across all platforms, right? Generally, the last quarter of the year is always the busiest. So for some reason, business is always towards the end of the year,
Yeah. Everyone's working really, really hard because of the new year's coming. Everyone.
And everyone wants to hit numbers, Yeah.
It's all the KPIs. Yes.
Exactly.
It's like, wake up.
Yeah. So I think I don't want to cover this. It's all covered earlier, So we want to also mention majority are still male, but we're trying to get more female investors to participate, in the campaigns. We have very proud to say that in terms of we got support, very good chairman as well as advisor. Both are very credible individuals. Tan Sri Samad actually is no stranger to the startup ecosystem. He was the chairman of MEFCAP, MDV and Cradle when they first started. And he's an entrepreneur himself. He started up Arthur Andersen in Malaysia, as well, which is actually before Ernst & Young came about. So Arthur Andersen, then it evolved into Ernst & Young. Anwar Jamal is a very seasoned oil and gas player. He was the chairman of Schlumberger of Asia Pac, Schlumberger for many years until he stepped down to join the Petronas board. So both are also our shareholders. And that's myself, who's a CEO and co-founder. Then you've got my other two co-founders, Aimi and Kiri. So
I have a question, Elain. You came from Petronas, you came from DG, Malaysian Debt Ventures. What's your calling to do, equity crowdfunding? Yeah, I mean, it's like you're like up there, DG, MDEC, all these very credible companies. What's your calling in entrepreneurship?
No, I think for me, I've known it in, I guess, many years, way before that. If you look at, right, I started with Petronas. And then I was in MDEC during when it first started. I'm giving away my age already.
No, you still look very young. You look very young. Really.
Thank you. So I noticed that, and I work in big and small companies, like for example, DG, Packet One. So I noticed that I get very frustrated in very, very big companies.
I see. The bureaucracy, you mean?
I'm better. I thrive in small structures. So, and I love the startup environment. So I knew that. But I think in terms of entrepreneurship, I think I kind of like became an accidental entrepreneur in a certain way. But having said that, I really enjoy it. I guess you need a certain kind of quality lah. You know, the your risk appetite, because entrepreneurs have a higher
Risk.
Pain
high,
threshold. Pain
yeah,
threshold.
higher, very high pain threshold. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think and the thing with the entrepreneur is that for example, right, I don't think a person who prefers 9 to 5 job would be able to work like I do now. For example,
Yeah.
you know, you think they would like be here and still spend time talking to people at 9 to 10 o'clock at night, and I've got another meeting after this. You know,
Yeah. At
so
10:30 or so. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I think is the characteristics, yeah, of an entrepreneur is very different. Yeah,
I totally
so
agree with that.
which is why I always tell the younger people, right, who thinks, oh, it's cool to be an entrepreneur, it's hip.
Everyone thought that
Once
is
they
like
tasted
glamour
it,
here
once
and
they
there.
tasted it.
Yeah, but
Yes, it's 9 to
um,
5, guys. It's seriously
yeah,
9 to 5, but 9
it's,
a.m. to 5 a.m.
but I think
So,
what I want to say is that if you want to be an entrepreneur, I think, especially today, it's not easy because market is very competitive. It's a very fast-paced industry as well, especially with digital and social media, right?
yes.
And you've got to have the grit, the tenacity, and the commitment. But at the same time, you also need to have your support system because
Yep.
it's very stressful. And we've seen entrepreneurs who kill themselves, who commit suicide because they cannot
Yeah,
cope.
burnt out.
Yeah.
Burnout is one
Yeah.
thing, but I see that especially in male entrepreneurs because men tend to
Hide
they
it.
feel, yeah, hide it because you guys feel that it's a weakness, you
Yep.
know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you cannot do that. You got to talk to that. That's why I highly encourage, if you are in the entrepreneur track, do find a mentor or a coach or somebody for you to talk to, you know. Whether it's business challenges, personal challenge, whatever lah, you know. And that's number one. Number two, find ways to distress. You must find a way to de-stress. You cannot just work all the time.
Yeah.
Like for me, I work out, you know. So I work out. I used to work out every day, but I got no time, so I work out a lot on weekends. And then the third thing is that have faith. For me, I pray as well.
I see.
You prayer, or even you do yoga, meditation. Meditation is important, or prayers. So one of those. You just find ways to chill,
I
or do
understand.
whatever to chill. You know. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
All right.
sorry, that's me on my Zen self. Okay.
No, this is very important. Actually, that topic is, we probably have to go on to 100x another topic in the future, but it's definitely is a very, very
Yeah.
big topic.
Yeah.
That resonate very well with me because that's probably the whole reason why 100x actually formed in the first place. We knew that businesses is having
It's
a hard
tough.
time, is tough, and we always wanted to give back.
Yeah. So this is our team. Yeah, we've got a very lean
Oh, we
team.
saw Nicholas Q there as well. Familiar face. Yay.
Nicholas
Yeah.
Q was our college, a high school friend.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Anyway, so these are our team
So
members.
awesome.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you.
Ooh. Thank you for coming on board and giving us this jam-packed value for crowdfunding. Are you guys interested in going to crowdfunding? If no, definitely check out this. I'm sure you guys will be very, very interested. So get into the space. As we all know, as investors, what actually hurts most investors, that's why I've spoken to a couple of few of them, is actually missing out on the grand deal that they, it's the same thing like Bitcoin. Many of us say that I should have bought Bitcoin. Well, crowdfunding is another opportunity for you guys who you may not know that one of the things that you actually funded today might be so big in the future, as you've seen some of the case study which Elain have shared as well. So definitely check out his tag there, ata-plus.com. So definitely a lot of value to get into this space, guys. Check it out.
Any other questions? We've got a few more minutes left. I've got to jump into
Yes.
that meeting, but we've got 5 minutes left.
Yeah. So guys, any quick question you want to ask Elain before
Yeah,
she actually has another meeting to
I'm
go?
gonna zip up, give you guys a few seconds. You guys not gonna ask. I'm gonna start asking, okay?
Yeah. So now's your chance, guys. Ask question down there. If not, Eddie ask the question, then you guys got no
Now or
time.
never.
Yes, yes, yes. Entrepreneurs, now's the chance. Okay. Can we look for Atta Plus for advice, Yvonne? Okay, okay. Yeah. How do they get in touch with you if they want to speak to some of your representative or
Yeah, you can get in touch with us on Facebook or email me. We always get queries on our Facebook message. PM us. Yeah. Yeah. Or even just email me. It's fine. Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
okay, yeah,
PM lah. PM is best. Because we do respond quite fast to our private messages. Yeah.
awesome, awesome. Right. Eddie, do you have any other question you want to ask Elaine?
Yeah, for me is for startups. Right now, I hope that you guys actually get a different point of view what crowdfunding is about. Most people, I think for a startup part, especially new entrepreneurs, what they are mostly afraid of is giving equities. But now I hope you guys can actually see that being in a crowdfunding platform, you as investors, they help you promote your company as well. So they are not, just take away equities and then demand, how you're gonna
Returns.
grow. They would actually help you promote as well. So it's one of the best thing that could actually happen. It's a win-win situation for everybody. You're not dealing with just one institution or one VC. You are dealing with a bunch of people. Like you can see over hundreds of people. That's a win-win-win situation for everyone here. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. All right then. I see there's no other question. Many of them is shy. Probably I'm
Yeah.
gonna have some
Definitely,
WhatsApp blast.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely
Yeah.
you're gonna ask me in the future. So maybe in the
Alamak.
future we're gonna have probably bring you over in the future. Is like if you have other new things to actually talk about Art Plus in the future.
Yeah. We
Sure.
love having you here.
Thank you.
Awesome,
Thank you. I
awesome.
mean, thank you for having me. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. All
You
right,
gotta
I
rush
guess
for
you
the
have to
next meeting,
rush.
right?
Yeah. Okay then. Thank you so much, Elaine.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Good luck.
Bye.
Good
Take
luck.
care. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.
Yes, important for everyone. Stay safe. Bye. Awesome, awesome. So you guys are getting so much value from here. Of course, today is just an ad hoc thing that normally we came is on Thursday on the Money Magnet show, but we just felt that this session was so important. That's why we came on board here. We're bringing you some very awesome someone like Elaine to give you guys the best sharing session on equity crowdfunding. So for rest of you guys who have been getting so much value from this, probably share this link to someone else or your friend or family members who probably be thinking that, you know what, they wanted to scale their business but do not know how to scale. They want to get funding but do not know how to get funding. This is the video for them. Send it to them. Don't waste another minute. Money is time. Time is money. So yes.
Yeah, and not only just share the videos, talk about it, talk about it. I think Malaysians need to embrace more about equity crowdfunding. When I first exposed to equity crowdfunding was back in the year 2015 and stuff. It was pretty new, but back then I knew the potential of equity crowdfunding and what it can bring. But now you can see full fledged that it has all the benefits, way much more, capacity for you to invest, even with just 10 ringgit. I never knew that, man. Come on, 10 ringgit. My advice to you guys is what you guys can do is get onto the platform, start searching potential companies that you resonate with, and catch the news whenever there's a new campaign. Pay attention. It's like looking for the stock market or looking for the next Bitcoin, guys. Being on their platform has that amount of benefits. Do it. Highly recommend.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
Yvonne.
yes. No problem. We've always we are always all the way for values for 100x as well. So we're doing the best that we can to give as much value as we can. We know it's very tough. I mean, COVID also affected us in our own business as well. I know it's very tough. We just wanted everyone to have probably a better chance to do business in this current crazy age itself. So yet again, another case for those of you who are just new in 100x and do not know what 100x does. Well,
Wait.
100x.
Before that,
Okay,
guys,
okay.
this is actually the uh it's actually the pocket finance show that we are apparently asked to go on. So this is not the Eddie and Eldon show that will be on
Yeah, it's not a
Thursday.
money magnet show.
Okay,
It is
it's not
still
the
the
Money
pocket
Magnet show.
finance show.
But Money
We
Magnet and Pocket Finance, I mean, it's still finance. It's still help entrepreneurship and business. All right. So
yeah.
thank you for Yvonne and Whaley for allowing us to be in your show. We are kind of like hijacking your show today, but yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for believing in us so much. All right. Yes. So for the rest of you who are new in 100x, we don't, as what the value you've seen from this video, we don't just talk only about startups, we talk about money as well. There's so many things that we talk slightly a bit as well. Elaine was saying about personal mental health as well. So there's just so many value in 100x community, and it's definitely a bright place for you to join as well. For those of you who have not followed us, definitely follow us on Facebook. I'm always on there, on Instagram as well as LinkedIn. Another big platform that we're always being followed on is on LinkedIn. So that's actually a QR code if you are
Do like
check.
and follow us, and because it helps with the algorithm, share it out. People know more about us, more benefits to everyone else at the same time. So yeah, please
Yep.
do it now,
So
please.
yeah, do it now. Do it now, do it now. So still remember to check Ata Plus. I'm gonna post it out here one more time again, because that's now you guys are actually having the first hand information from Elaine herself. Definitely, if more investors are coming in, basically there are more and more competition on board as well. So the faster you are in the platform, the better it is, because you have more advantage to see more startups, earlier ones, and be more well versed with how the equity crowdfunding. As we all know, like for example, in all things, once so many people goes into it, then it's not really, it can be competitive lah. That's what I can say. So better
Yep.
early than late. It's always like that in
And the
startups, in
trend for equity
Bitcoin or
crowdfunding and
whatsoever.
startups, I can only see that the trend is going all the way up,
Yes, it's a
because
hockey stick. Yes,
I think of somebody told me before once that actually COVID-19 awakened a lot of people to innovate. They are no longer comfortable. They have to be aware about the digital platform. They have to use new technology, and it's important for us to be in that platform as well, because as the saying goes, if you don't adapt, you miss out a lot. So the
yeah,
best thing that you guys can do is even just check out their website, follow their Facebook, follow their LinkedIn, Instagram, or even 100x or so. They get your first hand news of everything, since that the first thing everybody do nowadays, check WhatsApp, go on Facebook. That's the news. If you're not following us, you're never gonna get the news. So
yeah.
do it.
All right, so that's all for today. We'll see you guys. No, we'll see you this coming Thursday, and next week
Yeah.
we'll be on Yvonne and Chanel again. So thank you for watching the show, and over and out.
Ciao.
If you've been to Tokyo, chances are you've travelled on the Yamanote line. Tokyo's Circle Line departs every 2 minutes, moving over 5 million passengers daily. That's more than the entire London Underground system on a single line. But did you know a section of track that makes up the Yamanote line today was built off the ocean of Tokyo Bay? On October 14th, 1872, Japan's first railway line would officially open, ferrying cargo and passengers the 29-kilometre journey between Shimbashi in Tokyo to the port city of Yokohama in the south, via Shinagawa. The Yamanote line would have its red letter day in 1925, when on the 1st of November, full Circle Line operation would commence as we know it today.